Hello Aries, I am Poetic Heretic, and this is your November 2017 tarot forecast. Do remember you can use these videos for your sun, rising, and moon signs. So this month we are again looking at each week one by one, and then we'll have a fifth card summing up the whole month. So let's see what we get for the sign of Aries for November 2017. What does the universe have in store for all Aries individuals, whether it be their sun, their rising, or their moon? Alright, here we go. For the first week, Judgment. That card makes an appearance yet again. That card was showing up like crazy last month. The second week, the Nine of Cups reversed. The third week, the Eight of Cups reversed. The fourth week, the Two of Cups reversed. And the card summing up the whole month, the Ace of Swords. Well, you guys were saved by the Ace of Swords, because if this is summing up the whole month, it's essentially saying that overall it's going to be a really good month. Although we might run into a little bit of trouble here. So, starting off in the first week, you have the Judgment card. This card is the idea of, if we look at its planetary rulers, the Sun meeting Pluto, even though technically both of those are not planets. Neither of those are planets, but you get what I'm saying. It's luminaries or whatever. This is the idea of the light of the sun, the light of consciousness, shining into the deep, dark, hidden realms that Pluto talks about. Secrets and the unconscious. Pluto also is power, very powerful, and the sun is powerful in its own way. So it's kind of like the ego, which I would suggest is the sun, meeting the unconscious, which I would say is Pluto. It's kind of like a time of well, not in like a negative sense, although it can be, but like a day of reckoning, or like a pivotal moment. Something big is about to happen. The idea of judgment. This is a critical time. The day has come. You know, for whatever path you've been on, the time has come. Something big is going to happen. Again, with that Ace of Swords, I don't think it's going to be anything bad for the vast majority of you. In fact, when we tie it in with this energy, it's probably going to talk about seeing with clarity, especially seeing things that have been hidden with clarity. What else can we say here? The Judgment card talks about dynamic creativity. It talks about answering the call of destiny, and even kind of advises you to look deeper within and answer your own inner calling. This can be great for creativity, any kind of like inspiration and stuff like that. It's also the idea of, as you can see in the artwork of the card, rising from the dead. These people are rising from the dead. And so if you felt defeated or anything like that for a period of time, this could be your rising from the dead. That is a huge aspect of this card. But remember, it's still very much, at least in my opinion, about the idea of the light of awareness, the sun meeting the hidden realms, the unconscious, the deep, dark issues of Pluto. That celestial body talks about. there, and I'm trying to use the right terms, I guess, since Pluto's not technically a planet. But anyway, so that's your first week. The time has come for some big things to happen, whether internally or externally or both. So for the second week, you have the Nine of Cups reversed. Well, this can talk about feelings of sadness and sorrow and disappointment and stuff like that in its reverse position. But when we connected with the Ace of Swords here, that's going to lessen the blow, and in fact it might even mean that you're just getting deeper into sort of seeing clearly, because the Ace of Swords is all about seeing clearly. So getting deeper into seeing maybe something that disappointed you or made you sad or something, seeing that more clearly. Another possible interpretation would be that just how this card talks about a sense of celebration and feeling good in its upright position, enjoying the pleasures of life and stuff like that, a party atmosphere. It could be that, but maybe not as intensely in its reverse position. And the emphasis again would likely be on this Ace of Swords energy, like a sort of mental clarity and stuff like that. So it could be more of an internal thing than an external thing. For the third week, you have the Eight of Cups reversed. So this is a very interesting and dynamic card in both its upright and reverse position. In the reverse position, in a positive sense, this card can talk about the idea of facing facts and doing the right thing, owning up to what is missing in one's life or what you need to do or feel you need to do. No longer giving too much of yourself to others, but instead knowing what you need to do for yourself. And I think that's most likely what it's going to manifest as for the vast majority of you, because that is very fitting with the other cards here. And the Ace of Swords again adds a dimension of clarity to that. It's like, more and more as I look at the spread, it's like it's saying that it's becoming very clear to you guys what exactly the truth is, what things are actually like, how things really are, things that have been perhaps hidden, secrets, they're coming to light, and you're seeing them clearly, and it's changing things in a very powerful way. And well, before we move on, the Eight of Cups reverse sometimes can talk about a sense of like hopeless altruism, like in a negative sense, but like I said, I think the other interpretation is more likely here given the context that the card is falling in. But I'll just throw that out there as a possibility. You know, if you find in the third week, basically this is what it boils down to. If you find in the third week that you're feeling or being perhaps too altruistic towards other people, I know that's not very Aries-like to begin with, but just in case, if you find like you're putting others first too much, don't do that. That's what this card is advising you to do if that happens to be your situation. Now moving on. For the fourth week and the rest of the month of November, you have the Two of Cups reversed. So normally I'd be saying that this card is indicative of a major disappointment, especially like a lost love or a failed relationship, failed romance, failed creative endeavor, stuff like that. But again, we've got this Ace of Swords energy, so I'm not going to say it's impossible for it to be that, for it to be something sad like that, or that to that degree of unwanted, but it's unlikely. Like, it could maybe happen, but it seems unlikely for the vast majority of you. I think what's really happening here is, again, as this whole spread seems to indicate, that you're likely to gain clarity about someone really close to you and important to you, and or something really important to you, because this card, there's two people in the card, but it doesn't always have to manifest that way. This can talk about great creativity and everything that goes with creativity. So you're gaining a lot of clarity about another person and or something that is really important to you. And if it's another person, it's most likely someone that you are more or less intimately involved with, someone very close to you. And so that's what we're looking at there. Let's see, anything else before we look closer at the Ace of Swords? Well, I just want to say the Eight of Cups here, it's interesting when we look at the numerology of these cards, because 8, of course, is going to refer to Scorpio, which is ruled by Pluto, which then ties in with the Judgment card. So that's even more indication that this is like a month where secrets come to light, basically. I mean, that's if I had to sum up this whole reading in one sentence, that would be it. This is a month where secrets come to light, where all that has been hidden becomes known, or at least much of what has been hidden becomes known, comes to light. And other than that, let us look at the Ace of Swords here, summing up the whole month. So I've already talked about the clarity and stuff like that. This can also be a card of new beginnings, especially in the mental realm, because it's the Ace of Swords. Swords are air. Air is the intellect, the mental realms. This can be like in reference to technical things like technology, and even like working with schedules and stuff like that. Anything of a scientific or technical sense, this card can refer to. The idea of brilliance, of genius, of being smart, again with it being air and referring to the intellect and stuff like that. So it's like you guys are taking the Ace of Swords this month and you're cutting through the crap. You're cutting through the lies, you're cutting through the deceptions and anything else that you may have experienced, and you're getting to the truth, and it's very powerful. The Ace of Swords and the Judgment card back here in particular, those two cards are very powerful. So powerful new beginnings where the truth comes to light. And it's very interesting also, I should throw in here that for the majority of November we're in Scorpio season, which, as I mentioned, is ruled by Pluto, and so ties into the whole idea of all that is hidden coming to light. And then, of course, later on in the month, we go into Sagittarius season, which is much more about philosophy and the spiritual side of life and the far-seeing, imaginative belief system type of thing. But you know, that won't be until the 4th week, and when we enter into that sort of energy. But basically, I think I've summed it all up pretty well at this point for you guys. The only other thing I could say would be, it's definitely not going to be a bad month, but it is a month that could have some interesting challenges, perhaps. I'll put it that way. Like, it's not a month where I see a ton of celebration going on and stuff like that, but it's also not going to be a really bad month. It's more a month of powerful clarity that you will be experiencing. So, there you go, Aries. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you do have a great and powerful month indeed. This has been a tarot forecast for the sign of Aries for the month of November 2017 from Poetic Heretic. Don't forget to rate, comment, favorite, and subscribe, and thanks for watching.